gonna tell you something. I'm Star-Lord.
I get the same old dreams, same time every night. Fall to the ground and I wake up.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Ranked and Reviewed Goes Live / Ranked and Reviewed Breaks the Fourth Wall. I'm your host, Tomye West, and joining me as always is my co-host, Alannis Maximus. And we are here to review. Man, it's a podcast. Use your voice. We're here to Fast X. Isn't that right, Alannis?
We are.
I clicked the wrong window. I used the wrong intro. Like, fuck this world, you know?
This is that intro was definitely better than Fast X. Sir.
Oh, yeah. But man, award for funniest movie of the year.
Ah.
Maybe. Anyway, we went and saw Fast X tonight, and we saw it in 40X. So we're going to be reviewing the movie as well as the experience. And yeah, it's going to be a good time. So, Alannis, how do you feel about this? Did you hear me? How did you feel about this?
I did not.
Fucking hell. Shit show.
Yes. I like seeing John Cena. I like seeing Jason Statham. I like 40X. I like action movies, so this was kind of alright.
Oh man. Okay. Like, we like to be as fucking truthful and fucking real as we can be about like what our experience was, what we did and shit. Like, so I just want to be like very clear to everyone that Alannis like should talk about mainly the movie, because I came in like half an hour late because I was on the phone and I was like, listen, man, I don't care if I miss 30 minutes of this movie or 40 minutes or 50 minutes, because guess what? I haven't seen the last 7 movies. So what does it matter? I'm not going to be caught up on the story anymore. So Alannis, let's hear your thoughts on it. What do you think?
I think the movie, if you want mindless... Well, I mean, I feel if I wasn't watching it in 40X, I probably wouldn't have even liked the action-y scenes as much. It felt better than a lot of the other Fast movies I've seen, which isn't saying a lot because they're pretty average. There was some cool action. They didn't drive into space, which, I mean, apparently that happened in the last one that I haven't seen. I felt like looking at it objectively, the middle act just really dragged. The beginning was really good, the middle was really good, then the middle, it just kind of went.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was like to you, like, where's the broom brooms? Like, where's the broom? You know what I mean? I was talking when I was like in the middle of the movie, you know, and I don't know any of the characters, man. So to me, they're like talking about it, like mentioning names and shit, and I'm just like, I don't know what's going on. And the only name I kept recognizing was Dom.
Yeah.
So
I'm like, that's a famous, because at one point I couldn't even remember Kurt Russell was in it, and then the picture of him comes up, and I'm like, he must be an important reference. That's Kurt Russell. And there was no mention of The Rock.
And dude, Jason Momoa. What a performance, man. So, like, Jason Momoa clearly plays like a half Spanish / Mexican, half American. I don't know, man, what it's meant to be. But anyway, he doesn't know how to do a Mexican accent or a Spanish accent for very long. So it's like half American, half Spanish, and it would be like, "Hey man, come over here, gringo." Like not that extreme, but you know what I mean? Like that's my example of it. It was so funny, man, like hearing him like just change. Like I was like, man, this guy didn't have much direction on the voice, I don't think.
No.
So is this his first Fast and the Furious movie?
Yes. This is the first one he's been in.
And that's not the only Justice League member to be in this movie.
There was.
Wait. Is it a spoiler? Do we want to give it that away yet?
I don't think we can talk much more about this movie without spoiling. Like, I don't have much else to say.
Well, I guess we'll just fucking get straight into it. And if you don't want to see spoilers, then I suggest leaving because, look, what do you want me not to spoil for you guys? The cars go boom. Like, I don't know, man. Dude, I was like laughing. Okay, I don't hate the movie. I didn't hate it at all. I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun time. I liked it a lot more than I thought I would. I'm looking at like what we with our rankings. Or I might actually prefer this over Guardians. Interestingly enough. But it's because I found Guardians to be kind of boring. And the 40X was underutilized. So what did you like about this movie and what didn't you like?
I like John Cena. I didn't like that they... We're talking about spoilers now, aren't we?
Yeah, fuck it.
I don't like that they killed John Cena. He's like the only reason I was interested in that movie. I don't like that there was very little Jason Statham because he's probably the other reason I was interested.
Yeah, he was in it for what, like 30 seconds, 40 seconds?
Yeah, he had like a fight scene and then it was done.
I don't know, man. Look, man, this movie was fun. It was great, and it was probably better because it was in 40X. Had I seen this not in 40X, I don't think I'd have much positive to say about the movie, but that is because I don't know these movies. I have no fucking idea what's going on in these movies because the last one I saw was Tokyo Drift. And that's again, I'm not trying to bag it out. I'm not trying to say anything harsh about it. It's just not my movie. You know what I mean? Like, I have little to zero interest in cars. I know nothing about cars. So that aspect's lost on me completely. But I kind of get that if you like looked at Jurassic Park Dominion, yeah, and you're like, I didn't like it. Well, I still think that you got to go into this movie with the same outlook that you would go into with a Jurassic World movie now, which is that the first movie was a masterpiece and it was unbelievably cool and whatever, but the rest have all been like just a guy smashing dinosaur toys together. You know what I mean? And that's what I feel is with the Fast and the Furious movies. If you're going in for a serious time to find out like, well, where's the story going and shit, I still think that's like, you just go in to just watch action and have a fucking fun time. That's what these movies I feel like are mainly about. What about you?
I agree. You definitely have to take your brain out to enjoy this movie. It's a mindless action movie. There's nothing wrong with that.
Again,
that's
spoilers. We're talking spoilers, so I don't have wrong thing saying it. They lost me completely, and I started dying of laughter when he was driving down the Hoover Dam.
Oh yeah, away from the explosion.
Oh man! And then dude, okay, so Alannis, going to the ending of this movie. We're just going to go straight into the ending. Like, Alannis, talk about the ending of this movie for a minute.
First of all, John Cena explodes, which makes me unhappy. Then Dom Toretto drives away from an explosion down the Hoover Dam and survives. But there's bombs on the dam, and then it cuts away.
That's the end. That's legit the end. He's like looking at the bombs, and they're like, and it just cuts, and you're like, and it was funny because it cut to a different scene, and you're like, oh, cool. So it's not like a cliffhanger, and then after that scene, it does cut, it ends, and you're just like, oh, so that was the cliffhanger. And dude, remember my reaction? How good was my reaction? I'm like, that was the end? And I was looking around and everyone's like, what the fuck? And I just burst into laughter, man. I was like, are you kidding me, man? That was the end. So yeah, spoiler alert, there's another Justice League member. Gal Gadot is in this movie. Is that her
Yes.
name?
Gal
Wonder Woman.
Gadot.
Wonder
I don't know.
Woman.
Yeah.
It's about family. Man, he's a bad actor. I'm sorry. If you guys like Vin Diesel, he sucks. Man.
There's nothing good about Vin Diesel's acting ability at all.
My God, man, it was so one note the whole movie. It's literally, I don't know what we're going to do about this. All right, then, let's race. Like that little enthusiasm, you know? I think one of the highlights was Pete Davidson. What did you think of Pete Davidson?
I did not mind him at all.
He was pretty good. As you said, you really liked Hobbs and Shaw. Now, I've heard a lot of people say that they don't like Hobbs and Shaw. What did you like about Hobbs and Shaw that's different to this movie? Because I haven't seen any of them. So what makes that movie different to this?
First of all, it was just more I wouldn't say the acting was good in it because it was Jason Statham and The Rock, but it was more just a stupid action movie. It wasn't trying to also be a car racing movie. It didn't feature Vin Diesel. And it had more of an action movie storyline rather than just family, cars and family.
Yeah, I know, man. Like, it's fucking, that was all this movie was. It was literally him going like, it's about family. And then it'd be like, you ready to race? And it'd be like, yeah, for the family. And dude, what about that race? Like the first proper race we got, how I'm like, sitting there, I'm like, oh, here we go. And then it like drags on a little bit longer and then the race hasn't started. I'm like, okay, it's going to start now. And I'm like, sitting there for a while and then she like raises the flag slowly. And I'm like, would you fucking go broom already? Like, come on. Like, man, I don't know, man. I enjoyed it because of the 4DX. The action was really cool. I have to say though, some of the CG in it was really poor.
Yeah.
Really cheap looking, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, for a fucking franchise like Fast and the Furious, that's $1 billion franchise now. Why wouldn't you spend that extra little bit of money to make those fucking effects really pop like Avatar?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't see one thing in Avatar, the CG in Avatar, where I was like, ew. In this movie, there was plenty of ew CG, where I was like, whoa, that looks like muddled or like messy or whatever. But again, that's not taking anything away from this movie. I get the fandom. I get people love these movies. I get that people are wrapped up in them. It's cool. They're not bad movies, but they're just not for me. So,
yeah,
as a casual moviegoer and not a fan of the Fast and the Furious franchise, I'd say that this is definitely worth going to see if you're a fan, or if you just want a fun movie that's like good for a laugh if you're not into it because it's very silly and over the top. I mean, like, you made it very clear that they took a car into space in the last one.
Yeah.
If anyone's like watching this and while we're live and can tell me why that happened and how they managed to make that happen in the movie, because I don't want to watch it, obviously. Because Alan can't tell me that either. I'm like, how did they do it? How did they get a car into space and make that like work for a movie? Like, man, I'm gonna look it up. So, Alannis, I mean, what other Fast and the Furious movies have you seen apart from this?
I'm pretty sure I saw up to the last Rock one, which was the one before last. But I've seen pretty much all of those movies once, and they all kind of blur into I didn't pay a whole lot of attention mess.
Well, fucking man, I'm trying to like look up this video of like them sending the car into space, and then a fucking dumb video of Andrew Tate started playing. So yeah, keep talking. What did you say?
Yeah, I've seen I think most of them, but I also haven't really I've seen them once, didn't really pay too much attention, didn't go back to them. The only one I really watched and enjoyed, I think, was the first one.
Well, I think that the first one's really good too, and I think it's actually like a decent fucking like like action crime heist movie. Like as I was saying to you, like I feel like the first movie was almost like a Training Day vibe with cars, and maybe a little bit sillier. You know what I mean? But like,
yeah,
that sort of like tone where it was like it had a serious like thing behind it, and there was like real shit going on and all that, and then like. The second one, it was just like another heist movie. And then the third one's when it was like the Tokyo Drift thing. And then like what was fast? It was, I think it was the first one was Fast and the Furious, then the second one was Too Fast, Too Furious, then it was Tokyo Drift, then it was like Da Fast and the Furious, yeah.
Yeah.
And
then I think there's a Fast and Furious.
yeah, dude. And did you know the first one is a remake of another movie?
Really?
Yeah, so there was a Fast and the
did not
Furious
know that.
before the original Fast and the Furious, like decades ago, I think. So it's like already a property, and they took the name. It's weird. So like, yeah, you said you were disappointed The Rock wasn't in it. Do you feel like John Cena made up for that element missing for you at all? Because you really like John Cena.
My most upsetting bit is we're not going to see The Rock and John Cena in the next movie together because John Cena blew up. Unless
Dude,
family protection.
Dude, I don't know why you're saying this. John Cena blew up, and you're saying he's not going to be in the next movie. They sent a car into space, man. I'm sure they can
That's a
bring
good
John
point.
Cena back in some fucking dumb way.
And all like half the cast blowing up in the airplane as well. Like, I don't know. I can see the family's going to save them.
I never remembered Vin Diesel being this boring as an actor. Like, I thought he was much better. I remember it. I have a vivid memory of him being like really good at acting. And then in this movie, it was just flat, very flat. Like, he was probably the most boring person in the movie.
Absolutely.
Even more than your most hated person in the movie, Brie Larson.
Oh, Brie Larson. Why was she in that movie? That was like just a kick in the dick. It's like, oh, yeah. Lovely.
Now that we talked a little bit about the movie, we'll come back and we'll talk about it again. But what did you think of the 40X experience?
40X experience, apart from the middle act, it was really lackluster. There wasn't much. But it had some water. There was more lights, I think, than either of the other movies we've seen.
Yeah, that was what they really did cool, which was like they like so in the 40X cinema, like say when Mario does the power like block for like the question block, and it like light like does a flash, the cinema will flash, or like lights will, or if like I think when Luigi was in like the forest with his torch, they like had the torch sort of shine into the crowd for a second. You know what I mean? Like it follows it. So like in this one, there was a lot of light use, which was amazing. Like it was really cool. Like explosions would happen behind you with lights and stuff like that, which was really fucking cool. What did you think about? Dude, you were so disappointed, and so was I, man. The fact that this was not in 3D.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought this, up until like I was getting out of the car to walk into the cinema, I thought it was in 3D. And nope.
Yeah, you were like, oh man, because I was like, I'll meet you in there. And then you go, cool, I'll get your glasses for you. And I'm like, bad news. And you're like, what? I'm like, not 3D. And you're like, why? I'm like, because man, like, okay, so they made Scream 6 3D, like, but not this. And when you watch this, you're like, this should have been 3D because it had a lot of popping action stuff that would have looked really good 3D. But then again, with a conversion job, would have looked very good.
Yeah.
Except Guardians looked really good in 3D, didn't it? So, and that was a conversion job. I don't know. I felt like the Guardians of the Galaxy experience was the weakest out of the 40X so far. I really think they underutilized the 40X because in Mario it was used smart. In this, it was used to its full, like, it's like, say if this was like, if from 1 to 5, yeah, and 5 is the top thing you could go with, like 40X. Mario was sort of like in the between a 3 and a 5, where they used it smart and used it cleverly and like used it like left to right and like everything kind of like went with everything on the screen and it was really well done. Whereas with Fast X, it's just like like the whole fucking movie at the end was just me like going, whoa, man, like I have just like slipped a disc. It was crazy. I even was impressed at the end. Like I said to you out loud, I was like, when we were just getting thrown around, I was like, oh my fuck yeah. I went to you, Jesus fuck Christ. So I mean, okay, like let's kind of get back into our thoughts on the movie as we wrap up and get into our rankings. So Alannis,
Yes.
what would you give this out of 5 stars?
2.
2. Okay, but wait a second. Is this with the 40X or is this
Without 40X? 1.
And that's pretty rough. Look, I'm gonna have to say, man, I'm gonna give this, even though I don't like Fast and the Furious, really, I'm gonna give this a fucking 3 out of 5 as a movie, if you're a fan, just as a plain movie, because it is entertaining at points and it's good for a giggle. And I had a great time laughing in it. And just like getting like people mixed up, I was like, who's that guy? They got DMX.
So you got a good point. Maybe I'll go to 2 and 3 rather than 1 and 2.
Who's that Asian dude? And I was like, that's Jackie Chan. I was just having a fun time. That's it. That was all it was about. So would you say 3 out of 5 for the whole experience,
Yeah.
like both together, or are we just talking movie?
Movie, I'll say 2.
Okay, well, I'm going to go 3 for the movie and just seeing it if you're a fan. If you're not a fan, I'm still going to say 3 because it is a silly time if you're into movies being a silly time. And then if you like for the 4DX experience, I'm going to put it up to a 4. Not perfect, just because of what the movie was, but the 4DX experience was fun.
Yeah.
Probably the most hectic experience we've had so far, and I don't see anything coming close to it. I would love to see Top Gun Maverick in it or something like Avatar 2 with Way Over Water. I would have loved. I'm so bummed that we saw that fucking movie at IMAX, man. Like,
We could have seen it in 4DX.
we didn't know. We were ignorant to 40X. We had no idea of it existing. And when I found out it was existing, I was like, what? We saw Avatar in IMAX, Melbourne, which is terrible. Like the worst theater I've ever been in. Like that place was, I remember when it opened, yeah, and it was like, you went there and you're like, whoa, this is fucking impressive, man. And now it's been like 20 years and you're like, yo, this needs a fucking upgrade really bad. Like you're in the back row of IMAX and you're still too close to the screen.
Yeah.
You're way too close. And I was like in the back row and I'm still like turning my head to see the character on the left of the screen, turning my head to see them talking. I'm just like the screen's too fucking big, man, for the room. It's like, it's all well and good having a big screen, but if I'm like this, to see it, like, and then everyone's like so packed in tight, and then people like squishing past you and fucking, nah, man. Fuck the bigger screen. The 40X trumps that. Trumps the bigger screen.
Absolutely.
All right, so with that, we're going to bring up our ranking for just the 40X experiences alone. So we ranked our 3 40X experiences from best to worst. Let's bring it up. So, 40X experience for me, Super Mario Brothers number 1, 2 Fast X, 3 Guardians of the Galaxy, and Alan is right there with me, which I'm surprised about because when we left this movie, I was so sure you were going to say you liked Fast X more than you liked Mario. Like that.
I think Mario, I don't know. I think they use it a bit smarter.
They do. It's really magical seeing Mario in 40X. And just for instance, to know that it's not as good not in 40X, I have it now in 4K. Like I've got Super Mario in 4K and I watched it today again. And I was like, it's a great movie. I still love it. It's really fucking good. And probably my favorite animated movie ever now. And I love it. It's like, it holds a special place for me in my heart already because it was just so, it hit me in all the feels. You know what I mean? It just felt good seeing that movie. So like that experience, it just can't be beaten. And I'm disappointed that we can't replicate that at home. You know what I mean? But then again, it would be such a, like, how could you can't. Even if you could afford a 40X cinema in your house, how would you get there's no 40X Blu-rays or ultra high definition 40X like set. I don't think it would work like that, man. You know? It's not like 3D where it's like easily adaptable to a TV, you know?
Yeah.
So with that, let's bring up our rankings. Now, everyone, we're doing rankings a little bit differently because we didn't watch any of the previous Fast and the Furious movies preparing up to this. So we're not going to rank this movie against the rest of the franchise when we haven't even seen half of it. So with this, we're doing this year a little bit differently, ranked and reviewed. We're actually just going to rank the year. So as we go, we're just going to put movies in a list of where we think we like them. And then at the end of the year, we'll have a look at those lists, maybe shuffle a few movies around and then lock in a solid list each of like our best movie experiences from best to worst. That's the 40X and the movie experience. Or if we didn't see it in 40X, just the movie experience. So they'll be all lumped into one list. So with that, let's bring up our 2023 lists so far. And they look a little like this. Tomye, number 1, the Super Mario Brothers movie. Number 2, Scream 6. Number 3, Avatar 2. Number 4, Cocaine Bear. Number 5, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Number 6, Fast X. Number 7, Evil Dead Rise. And Alannis's looks like this. Evil Dead Rise at number 1. Guardians of the Galaxy at number 2. Avatar 2 at 3. Scream 6 at 4. Cocaine Bear at 5. The Super Mario Brothers at 6. And Fast X at 7. And now this is the first time I've looked at this list. Now I'm fucking furious at you. What are you doing putting Mario? Why is Mario that low, man? What are you doing?
I think there's going to be a lot of things in between it. But
Dude, you've got Cocaine Bear above it. Come on, man. You need to reevaluate that list because
I have a problem.
Dude, no, but like, I'm just like thinking about the logic side of this, right? You just said Mario was the best 40X experience. You had a great time. It was magical. You agreed with me. And then you said Cocaine Bear was above it. But we both came out of Cocaine Bear going, no, it's fucking okay, I guess. Alannis?
I may have put them backwards when I did it. So I'm going to say...
Yeah. You fucked up. Just admit it, mate. Yeah, you're completely wrong. Look how fucking different our lists are. It's fucking hilarious, man, that my, like, bottom movie is your top. My second bottom movie, third bottom movie is like your second. Like, dude, it goes to show like what sides of the nerd spectrum we're both on.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're like superheroes, horror, and I'm like, actually, man, it's not that different, you know. Like, I don't know. You just like Guardians of the Galaxy and Evil Dead a hell of a lot more than I do. So, fuck, man. Evil Dead was like, okay, it was fine, whatever. I didn't hate it. 3 out of 5 I gave it. What a bad time, though, man. The whole time I was just sitting there going, I don't like this. I'm like, this is scary. I don't want to watch this. All right. And Scream's not scary. That's a fun time. Halloween's not scary. That's a fun time. This movie was just like, not scary. It was just creepy and weird and gross. And I didn't want to see a cheese grater's leg. And, you know, gross. You know?
Or a tattoo gun face.
Or someone go through a fucking wood chipper. Brutal. Anyway, everyone, thank you for tuning in and sticking around. Yeah, I'm surprised. We're reading the chat here. I'm surprised Alannis didn't put Avatar at number 1 as well. No, I'm not really surprised at that. I'm surprised Alannis came out of Avatar 2 as lackluster about it as he was. Because you were like, man, remember when we went and saw Avatar 2, I was like, I don't want to see Avatar 2. I fucking hate Avatar. And I came out of it going, man, Avatar 2 was sick, bro. That movie was fucking rad. And you were like, yeah, it was good. And you were a big Avatar fan. I was like, whatever. What didn't you like about Avatar that much? Like, why didn't you put up?
No, I still like it. I think, I don't know, the sizzle fizzled a little bit. It's still good. I still really enjoyed it. It was still better than the first one.
I bet you any money, man, that you're going to change that with Avatar 3 when we see it in 40X, motherfucker.
I think I will. Because I'm legitimately curious about Avatar now. I think.
And if they ever bring Avatar, if they ever bring Way of the Water back for like a run to 40X, man, we're going.
We're there.
And now we're going to end this episode on something great. We're probably going to get dinged for it, but guess what, Alannis? I found the space car. We're going to have a look how these motherfuckers sent this rocket car into space. Let's have a look. It goes for 7 minutes, so we're just going to like have a look at like the takeoff, yeah?
But this whole operation is Band-Aids and duct tape.
Man, this is
Are they even fly
insane.
already?
We are headed to outer space. You acting like we on our way to Home Depot. This is ridiculous, man. I'm about to abort this whole mission and take my black ass home.
We're literally gonna be in a perpetual free fall.
Galactic launch of 36,000.
This whole that.
How are
I
they?
get nervous.
Dude, look at the... Dude, okay, we were talking about CG being bad. Look at their faces in this window. This is like clearly like just like fucking Photoshop, yeah. And then they've just like fuck with the transparency, like how transparent it is, and then they put like in like black and white. Look at this, man. Oh my god. Okay, and now people are like, "Oh man, but these movies are really good," and I'm like, okay. Now can people see why I was laughing in the cinema at this fucking movie tonight, man? Because they do shit like that, yeah. Like drive down the Hoover Dam or send their car into space, you know. Anyways, everyone, thank you for tuning into our review of Fast and the Furious X, Fast X, whatever you want to fucking call it. And we will see you next. What's next, Alannis?
It's either Spider-Man or Transformers.
Both movies that I'm not keen on, and for different reasons. Now, I like Spider-Man. I like Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse or whatever. Into the Spider-Verse, the first one. It was great. But in 3D, I saw the trailer for this in 3D and the animation, and it's in 3D and 4DX. We're going to see it in 4DX and 3D. And the 3D does not work with this animation. It looks so bad. It was blurry. I was like, this looks shocking, man. So I'm not excited for that reason. And then the other thing is Transformers. I don't care. Like, how many Transformers movies have there been? Like 6. And what? How many of them have been good? Like what? The first half of the first one or some shit, and Bumblebee maybe was passable.
And it had John Cena.
What about the one with Mark Wahlberg in it, man?
Oh, Marky Mark.
We gotta run away from the Transformers. That's my Mark Wahlberg impersonation. Quick, Ron, we gotta get away from these Transformers. All right. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Yes, I'm excited. We can't wait for Indiana Jones. That's gonna be sick in 40X, not 3D apparently. And what else? The Flash, gonna be great. And I don't care what you say, Alannis. Go fuck yourself. Get this, everyone. Alannis is excited for movies like Guardians of the Galaxy, but Alannis saw the Flash trailer and went, fuck this movie.
What?
I'm just gonna leave it at that because, like, Alan, you're backwards, mate. This fucking Flash movie looks awesome. And like, look, I'm not saying we should forgive Ezra Miller. Like, I'm not saying like we should like forgive him, but like we should like talk about it, right?
I mean, look at this.
We should talk about it forgiving Ezra Miller. I mean, like when that trailer came out, I was like, look, you're forgiven, man. Look, you can get away with punching one more woman in the face, but that's it.
June 1 is Spider-Man, so that's the next movie.
Great. And then what's after that? Transformers?
I'm guessing so.
I'm so glad they cut the runtime of that.
Yeah. I didn't want to watch a 3-hour, 4-hour.
Everyone, the original runtime for Transformers was going to be 3 hours and 40 minutes, and they cut it down. And you know why they did that? Because of if the movie goes for 4 hours, how many sessions can they play in a day? Fuck all.
Yeah,
Less money.
That's a good point.
That's why you don't want to shoot yourself in the foot with a 4-hour movie about robots. All right, guys. Well, me and Alannis are going to take off. We're going to get in our car. We're going to drive down the Hoover Dam like it's no fucking problem, and we're going to survive it. And then we're going to stand in the thing worrying about bombs as the fucking screen fades to black, and we'll catch you later. I'm your host, Tomye Wester. Joining me as always has been my co-host, Alannis Maximus, and we will see you next time for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and next week for our Beavis and Butthead reviews continuing.
And probably in 2025 to watch Wonder Woman save Vin Diesel.
And John Cena to come back from the grave.
Yeah, and fight The Rock.
Yeah, spoilers for everyone joining us now. Bad luck.